A federal court archive releases previously sealed material. The document is not new. Its existence was known. What changes is public access. Within the file appears a familiar name associated with records connected to Jeffrey Epstein. No accusation accompanies the reference. No official conclusion is attached. Yet public attention focuses on another figure mentioned within investigative materials, Donald Trump. Today's review examines what such documentation represents within investigative procedure and what authorities have officially confirmed regarding its significance. Because in legal records, appearance and determination are not the same. Every investigation begins with a routine action, a report filed, a record logged, a name documented. Most documentation remains procedural, but sometimes routine records become the focus of renewed attention. This channel examines investigations through documented process, from initial reference to official determination. No speculation, no dramatization, only what the record shows and how authorities evaluate it. This is Incident Uncovered. Investigations produce documentation beyond criminal charges. Civil litigation, depositions, and evidentiary submissions generate extensive records. These materials preserve testimony, references, and investigative context. Courts periodically reassess sealed documents. When judicial criteria are met, materials may be unsealed for public access. The release of documentation does not indicate a new investigation. It reflects administrative review within the legal system. Within such records, investigators document witness statements, contact references, timeline reconstruction details, contextual relationships. Investigative leads documentation preserves inquiry. It does not determine outcome. In complex investigations, documentation expands beyond primary subjects. Names may appear for procedural reasons. A witness recalls a social interaction. An investigator verifies a timeline. A contact network is mapped. An interview question references an individual. A lead is logged for verification. Each entry serves one purpose: preservation of information. Investigators document broadly to ensure accuracy during later evaluation. This process prioritizes completeness over interpretation. A name may appear because it was mentioned, not because it was substantiated. Understanding this distinction is essential to interpreting any investigative record. Not all documentation carries equal significance. Authorities classify records based on source and purpose. Witness testimony reflects recollection. Deposition transcripts preserve sworn statements. Investigative notes record inquiry steps. Exhibits preserve contextual material. Court filings document procedural action. Each category has a different evidentiary status. Investigators evaluate documentation through a structured hierarchy. First, authenticity. Second, context. Third, corroboration. Fourth, legal threshold. Only after evaluation can information contribute to official findings. Documentation alone does not satisfy evidentiary standards. Process determines meaning. Public interest intensifies when documentation intersects with recognizable figures. However, documentation released without investigative context often invites interpretation before evaluation. Three factors contribute to this dynamic: fragmented visibility, selective quotation, terminology misunderstanding. Legal records preserve inquiry in technical language. Without procedural framing, meaning may appear ambiguous. Investigative systems operate through verification stages. Public interpretation often bypasses those stages. This difference in process explains why document visibility and official determination may diverge. All investigative information progresses through three stages. Stage 1, recording. Information is preserved without conclusion. Stage 2, evaluation. Context and corroboration are assessed. Stage 3, determination. Authorities issue official findings when evidentiary thresholds are met. Understanding which stage applies to a document clarifies its significance. A recorded reference indicates inquiry. An evaluated record indicates analysis. A determination indicates conclusion. Most documentation remains within the first two stages. This procedural reality defines how investigative systems function. When documentation enters evaluation, analysts reconstruct context. They examine who provided the information, when it was recorded, why it was documented, whether corroboration exists, how it relates to verified events. Investigators cross-reference records with independent sources when available. Evaluation does not assume significance. It tests relevance. Legal standards require evidence to meet defined thresholds before contributing to official conclusions. This process prioritizes verification over inference. A central distinction defines investigative procedure. Interpretation is not determination. Documentation records inquiry. Evaluation tests relevance. Official findings establish conclusions. A reference within records does not constitute a determination of fact. Authorities rely on verified evidence, not documented possibility. This distinction shapes how investigative systems maintain procedural integrity. Understanding process changes how records are perceived. Based on publicly available records and official statements at the time of review, no new legal action has been announced in connection with the references examined in this episode. Documentation remains part of the investigative archive. Official findings remain the authoritative record of determination. Investigative systems preserve information to ensure accuracy. They announce conclusions only when evidentiary standards are satisfied. This structure separates inquiry from outcome. This review demonstrates how investigative documentation functions within legal systems. Records preserve information. Evaluation assigns relevance. Authorities determine outcomes. Understanding these stages clarifies how documentation should be interpreted. The presence of a reference reflects inquiry. Official findings reflect conclusion. Process defines meaning. In every investigation, the most significant discovery is not what appears in a record, but what the process establishes. At Incident Uncovered, we follow the record, not the assumption. If you want more evidence-based breakdowns of real law enforcement procedures, subscribe and enable notifications. Each episode is structured from verified documentation, official process, and investigative timelines. Because understanding how cases unfold starts with seeing what was recorded.